Hey, what's up guys? Mr. Myesis here, and right now I'm looking at adjustments to graphs. So how do we translate or do some adjustments to graphs where just we have a function. So we've got all these translations here, and I'm just going to make a mark here. These are all the different translations and transformations that we normally see in a lot of times in BC calculus. So make sure you know this stuff. This is good to memorize. And the previous page, if you're in my class, you should also memorize the parent graphs. Those come up so often. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples I have here and using these rules up here to graph this function. So now I have this function here, f of x, and I want to do y equals f of x plus 2. Now plus 2 shifts the graph left to 2 units. Okay, so we're going to shift it over 2 units this way. So instead of having my point right here, I'm going to have my point 2 units over here. Instead of having it here, which was it was before, I'm going to have 2 units here. Alright, it curved like this before, so now I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so I'm taking and shifting it over 2 units this way. Okay, 2 units that way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, oh, down 1, so I'm going to shift that over 2 and put it right there, and I'm going to have this picture here. Okay, forgive my sloppy handwriting. Oh my god, it's pretty bad. But anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. Now let's take a look at this one. Now this negative here reflects it about the x-axis, and we're also going to add 2 to it. Alright, so I'm going to do a little work here. Okay. Let's go ahead and reflect it around the x-axis. So that's 1, 2, that's 1 right there. Okay. Alright, so it looks like this. And then I'm going to add 2, so I'm going to go up 2 units on everything. So my next picture, my finished product, if you will, it's going to look like that. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. 1/2 f of negative x. So the f of negative x is going to flip it over the y-axis. Oh, let's use a different color here. Flip over the y-axis. So instead of this one being here, it's going to be over here. Alright, it's going to look like this. Okay, so it's a reflection about the y-axis, and then I'm going to shrink it by half. So that means what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the y values where my x is, and I'm going to shrink them by half. Okay, so I'm like, this is a vertical stretch or a vertical shrink. So instead of being at 2, it's going to be at 1. Instead of being at 1, it's going to be at 1/2. This is going to stay at 0, and this is going to be at 1. It's going to look like that. Okay? Alright, so the 2 here is going to horizontally shrink it. So we have a horizontal shrink. Screen again. So instead of it being at -2 here, it's going to be at -1. Instead of this being at 3, it's going to be at 3/2. Okay, and instead of being at 1, it's going to be at 1/2. And we're going to do that. Then this absolute value takes anything that is down here underneath the x-axis and flips it up. Alright, so we've got 3/2, so it's going to be up right here. And then it looks like it crosses around there, comes up to 2, and this part stays the same. Okay. So this part right here stays the same, and this part gets flipped up. Alright, last one here. Well, I think, last one here. F of absolute value of x. Okay, so what is that going to do to the graph? Well, eliminate completely all points left of the y-axis. Okay, so left of the y-axis, that's all this part right here. So this is all gone, eliminated. Leaves points right of the y-axis alone. Replace the left half of the graph with a reflection of the right half of the graph. Okay, so your graph should then show some y-axis symmetry. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have the right half of the graph looks like this. All right, except straighter. My drawing is horrible on this Mobi pad here. Okay, and then we're going to copy this onto this side, so it's a reflection. Well, this side worked out. Okay, so it should look like a reflection on both sides. And that's it. Okay, so that's some examples of doing some graph adjustments. See you later.